You ain't saying that shit, why? Lachey, smack your ass. You ain't talking. This shit pissing me off. Lachey. Lachey. She not gonna hit her on the bus. My thing on your friend. You bought it back to say,
It's rough. Every time I come here, I have a horrible night before, and I'm gonna have a horrible day when I leave here today. But every time I'm gonna be here.
Two on the floor. The suspects accused of taunting and torturing a young mother before killing her were in court today. Birmingham police say the suspects in Mahogany Jackson's murder posted videos of the crime on social media.
7:46 in the morning. A mother's phone buzzed with a text from her daughter. 4 words that would change everything. Send the police. Held hostage. What she didn't know was that her daughter had already been trapped for over 24 hours, held by 8 people, and every single one of them was someone she trusted, someone she had laughed with, someone she called a friend. For over 30 hours, they decided her fate, and they filmed every second of it. By the time help arrived, it was already too late. This is a story about trust, betrayal, and the warning signs that were there all along. Before we proceed, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This is brought to you by True Crime Verdict. She was only 20 years old, but Mahogany Jackson was already fighting to build a better life. Born and raised in Jasper, Alabama, she'd made her way to Birmingham chasing something bigger, a future for herself and her 3-year-old daughter, Nydia. That little girl was the center of her world. She had a soft spot for the color pink and a real dream tucked away, becoming a cosmetologist. Like so many young mothers, she was working to put distance between herself and old mistakes, trying to build something clean and lasting for her family. But Birmingham doesn't always make that easy, especially when the people from her past aren't ready to let you walk away. In the weeks before her death, Mahogany was dealing with something personal. Someone close to her circle had stolen from her, and she knew exactly who. This wasn't just about a missing item. On the streets, it was about respect, and Mahogany wasn't the type to let that slide.
I just want to start this off with a review. And I already done a review sheet. So, here we go.
On February 24th, Mahogany made a decision that would set everything in motion. She tracked down the person she believed stole from her, 24-year-old Brandon Pope. He wasn't a stranger. He was part of her circle, someone from the same streets, the same social world she'd been trying to leave behind. She wasn't there to talk things out. She came armed, and she came ready to get her property back, on her terms. When she found Brandon, she didn't waste a second. She pulled her weapon and demanded he return what belonged to her. But this wasn't only about the item itself. It was about being disrespected, and she wanted everyone watching to understand that. She forced Brandon to strip down in front of his friends, humiliating him at gunpoint. For a young man whose reputation on the street meant everything, this wasn't just embarrassing. It was a wound that wouldn't heal quietly. His friends stood there and watched it happen. And in that moment, something shifted. Once Mahogany got what she'd come for, she left. She probably believed the matter was closed. She'd made her point, gotten her property back, and taught a lesson that wouldn't need repeating. She was wrong. The second she was gone, Brandon's humiliation turned into rage. Being broken down by a woman in front of his own crew wasn't something he could let go unanswered. So he turned to his friends, Frances Harris, Jeremiah McDowell, and the others who'd witnessed his shame, and gave them 4 words that would seal Mahogany's fate. Do something to her. Brandon's command set everything into motion. Within hours, he'd pulled together a group of 8 people ready to make Mahogany pay for what she'd done to him. These weren't outsiders or hardened criminals. They were people from her own circle, people she'd spent time with, people she trusted. The group included Frances Harris, Jeremiah McDowell, Giovanni Clapp, Blair Green, Tynia McCall, Taja Lewis, and Ariana Robinson, different ages, different backgrounds, but all willing to be part of what came next. They took Mahogany captive, and what followed lasted more than 30 hours across multiple locations in Birmingham. This wasn't random chaos, it was methodical. They moved her from place to place, staying ahead of anyone who might come looking. Each new location brought more of the same: physical abuse, degradation, and moments designed purely to break her down.
And they filmed it. Multiple members of the group pulled out their phones during the assault, documenting what they were doing as if it were something to be proud of.
Me? Y'all know my car said me up there.
No, my Lord too.
Then she trying to explain to him, bro. She was scared, bro. I wish I could have helped her, bro. Then that fat hoe talking about show her what's in our blood.
Why she want her to shit?
She not gonna hit her on the bus. My name is girlfriend. You bought it back to say, damn. She's not gonna, man, you would take you to the bathroom. Oh, God. That's that shit, bitch. You pay both sides. That's that dead shit. Bitch, you a sniper ass on my turf. But you a snake. You a fucking snake. That shit is sniper. What about it? You all about with us. Talking about different shit you think before you gonna get back your home because of fight shit. Damn, bitch. You come back to the her shit. But I tell her the whole story. Oh, bitch. I'm gonna be like, her ass young. Young, child. You trying to stay my cut.
The group wasn't just angry. They planned to make her suffer for as long as possible. They moved her to different locations, each time with different abuse, beating her repeatedly, leaving her body broken and bruised. They sexually assaulted her beyond comprehension. They tortured her mentally, making her beg for her life and giving her false hope. They used their own phone to video the whole crime, which will be used against them.
Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurman would later call it one of the most heinous acts he'd seen in his career, describing the footage itself as deplorable and sickening. What should have stayed hidden ended up becoming public record, all because the people responsible chose to record their own cruelty. Through more than a day of torture, Mahogany held on to hope. Even as she begged, even as she pleaded for her daughter waiting for her at home, the abuse continued.
The facts of this case are deplorable and sickening. Saddest of all, they were made public by the suspect's decision to videotape portions of this horrific act. We hope to shield Mahogany's family and friends by withholding specific facts surrounding the investigation. However, we have determined that Mahogany was a victim of sexual assault with murder and kidnapping. Recently, Mayor Randall Woodfin and the Birmingham Police Department have urged the public assistance to help the Birmingham Police Department investigate violent acts such as these described in this case. Birmingham, you answered the call. It's hurtful to know that 7 individuals could participate in such vile acts, but this case highlights the strength and the effectiveness of the partnership between the Birmingham Police Department and our community, as 7 suspects are now behind the bars and will soon be in custody of the Jefferson County Jail with no bond.
Then, at 7:46 a.m. on February 25th, her captors let their guard down just long enough. She grabbed her phone and typed the message that would become her last chance at survival. Send the police. Apt 3. Held hostage. Don't call. Her mother, Gail, saw it almost immediately and called 911 without hesitation. Police rushed to the address, but by the time they broke down the door, the apartment was empty. Mahogany had already been moved. Her captors discovered the message too, and instead of ending things right then, they saw an opportunity. They demanded her phone's password, promising that if she cooperated, they'd let her go. Desperate to survive, desperate to get back to her daughter, Mahogany gave them what they wanted. It was a lie. After Mahogany gave up her password, the group made their final decision, and it had nothing to do with the promise they'd made her. Frances Harris, 25, took charge of what happened next. They loaded her into a vehicle and drove to a remote area of Birmingham, a spot chosen because they believed no one would find her there. At that location, Harris raised his gun and shot Mahogany in the back of the head. Then the group covered her body with mattresses and debris, trying to make her disappear. For hours, her family searched for answers. On February 26th, a witness walking through the area discovered what had been hidden. Mahogany's body was found, but it was already too late. The same videos the group had filmed to document their crime became the evidence that convicted them. Within days, all 8 suspects were identified and arrested.
So good evening. The Birmingham Police Department announces 7 arrests have been made in the Mahogany Jackson homicide investigation. On Sunday, February 25th, 2024, the Birmingham Police Department officers began investigating the missing persons case of 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson. Mahogany sent a text message to a family member that she had been kidnapped. Early the following day, officers and detectives discovered Mahogany's body in the 1700 block of Laurel Avenue. Investigators determined that she had been shot. With assistance from the community, detectives were not only able to locate Mahogany Jackson's body, but detectives took 7 suspects responsible for Mahogany's murder into custody within 48 hours of this investigation. On Wednesday, February 28, 2024, detectives were able to obtain arrest warrants for the following suspects. Giovanni Clapp, black female, 23 years of age. She is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first degree, sodomy first degree, and assault second with injury. Blair Green, black male, 25 years of age of Birmingham, is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first degree, and sodomy first degree. Tasia Lewis, black female, 25 years of age of Birmingham, is charged with felony murder, assault second, injury with a weapon. Frances Harris, black male, 25 years of age of Birmingham, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, sodomy first degree, capital murder, and kidnapping first. Sanaya McCall, black female, 23 years of age of Bessemer, Alabama, is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first, and sodomy first. Jeremiah McDowell, black male, 18 years of age of Bessemer, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, sodomy first, and capital murder with kidnapping first. Brandon Pope, black male, 24 years of age of Birmingham, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, kidnapping first, and capital murder with sodomy first. And I'll tell you, as many of you know, I served a number of years in the homicide unit. And this is undoubtedly one of the most heinous acts I've seen in my career. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm very thankful to the men and women of the Birmingham Police Department who've worked tirelessly for many days, very long hours, to bring resolution to this particular case and get these individuals off the streets of Birmingham. And I also want to highlight the assistance of the citizens of Birmingham who came forward and gave us information that led to the arrest of these individuals. I can't thank them enough.
Chief, can you tell us how long Mahogany was held hostage and tortured, and do you have a possible motive?
I will say that all of these individuals were acquaintances, that they were not strangers to one another. As far as the exact time of how long she was held, I don't have that information.
And do you have a potential motive?
I would just say they're all acquaintances with one another.
I know on early Monday morning, you all went out there with the family to go look for her. What happened during that time? Were you all able to find her? Or clearly not at that moment, but what happened? How did you?
Well, Monday's when we found her body. Sunday's when we got the information about the fact that she had been kidnapped and began a search to try to locate her. It was in the early hours of Monday morning that we received information that led us to where her body was, so we were able to recover and begin a homicide investigation at that point.
So in no way you all made it to the apartment complex that was in question?
We had been to that apartment complex on Sunday. Yes.
So what happened there? Did you make contact with any of the
We did
suspects
make
at the
contact with
time?
someone. We did question some individuals.
What came of that conversation?
One of those individuals is charged.
Did they admit to that?
I'm not gonna get into the specifics of the case because that would hurt the criminal case, but it was all pieces of the puzzle.
And how do situations like these work with her texting her family members saying she was being hostage or asking them to send the police? And you go to this apartment, can you just go in? Is that probable cause? Like, how does that work?
So we have to look at the totality of circumstances. Each case is different, has a different set of facts. We have to look at what we've got. And then, there's different ways, whether we need to obtain a search warrant, we can get consent, or as you kind of alluded to, if the facts are just egregious enough, then we could go in and make sure no one's in danger.
So of the 7 people, have most of them been compliant and talking to detectives who have been working on this case?
There again, that's something that will need to come out of court.
Brandon Pope, Francis Harris, and Jeremiah McDowell were each charged with capital murder during first-degree kidnapping and capital murder during first-degree sodomy, charges that carry the possibility of the death penalty in Alabama. Giovanni Clapp, Blair Green, and Sanea McCall face charges of felony murder, first-degree kidnapping, and first-degree sodomy. Taja Lewis was charged with felony murder, and Ariana Robinson with felony murder in connection with kidnapping. All 8 were denied bond. As the case moved through the courts, some charges shifted. The capital murder charges tied to rape and sodomy against Pope and McDowell were dismissed during a preliminary hearing, and Clapp's assault charge was reduced. Still, the core charges, capital murder and felony murder, remained in place for the group, leaving them facing the possibility of life in prison.
6 of the 8 defendants in the murder and kidnapping of 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson appeared in court today in Birmingham for a preliminary hearing. Prosecutors displayed still images from videos taken while Jackson was held against her will. ABC 3340's Gracie Johnson was in the courtroom today. And Gracie, some of the defendants' charges were reduced and even dropped.
Muriel, based on testimony and evidence that was presented during the preliminary hearing, Judge William Bell found probable cause for the defendants to be bound over for grand jury consideration. But like you said, some of the charges were reduced. Brandon Pope, Jeremiah McDowell, Francis Harris, Taja Lewis, Giovanni Clapp, and Ariana Robinson were all in court Wednesday for the preliminary hearing. The prosecution presented graphic screenshots from videos. All of these were taken while Mahogany Jackson was held against her will before she was murdered. The photos depicted Mahogany being slapped, punched, stripped nude, and forced to perform sexual acts while held at gunpoint. Jefferson County District Attorney Danny Carr discussed the nature of the videos.
Sheer brutality, the barbaric nature of it. You can't substitute that by just still photos.
There are 8 videos total, initially brought forward to law enforcement by an acquaintance who was able to provide copies of some of the videos and direct investigators to Jackson's body. Investigators discovered 3 additional videos late Tuesday night. All 8 of the defendants are seen in a portion of at least one of the videos. Pope, McDowell, and Harris were initially charged with 2 counts each of capital murder. Pope and McDowell's capital murder charge on the basis of rape and sodomy were dropped. Harris's 2 counts of capital murder both carried over. Lewis and Clapp were each charged with single felony murder charges and assault in the 2nd degree. Clapp's assault charge was reduced to 3rd-degree assault, which is a misdemeanor. Lewis's assault charge was bound over. Robinson was present in court today, yet her felony murder charge was bound over by another judge. Now, while some of the charges today were dropped or reduced, Judge Bell said that he made it clear that these charges can be brought back at any time by a grand jury. Live in Birmingham, Gracie Johnson, ABC 3340 News.
Through it all, Mahogany's family has waited for justice. Her mother, Gail, and her 3-year-old daughter, Nydia, will never get her back, but they hold on to hope that the courts will hold all 8 accountable.
Mahogany's story carries warning signs worth naming. When someone steals from you, that's already a signal about their character.
When the people around you solve conflict with violence instead of words, that's another one. And when your social circle treats respect and reputation as something worth hurting someone over, you may already be closer to danger than you realize. The most painful part of this case isn't just the brutality, it's that every person responsible was someone Mahogany knew, trusted, and once considered safe.
The real victims left behind are the ones still living with what happened. Mahogany's 3-year-old daughter, Nydia, lost the most important person in her world, too young to understand why her mother isn't coming home. Her mother, Gail, carries a grief made even heavier by guilt. She got the text, she called immediately, and it still wasn't enough to save her daughter.
It's rough. Every time I come here, I have a horrible night before, and I'm gonna have a horrible day when I leave here today. But every time I'm gonna be here.
The Birmingham community was shaken by what happened to Mahogany. People who never knew her felt the weight of her story, a young mother trying to build something better, betrayed by the very people she trusted. Vigils were held in her memory, candles lit for a life cut short far too soon.
Can I have everyone's attention, please? We're here to pay memorial to our beloved Mahogany Jackson. United we stand as a family, as a community, as a village. I'm going to do a scripture, and it's God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar and foam the mountains, and mountains quake with their surge. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her, she will not fail. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bows and shatters the spear. He burns the shield with fire. He says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. There has been a chain broken within our family, but love has replaced its link. We stand united as a family. We love our Mahogany. We say to the world, we're still standing. We have submitted the case to God, and we have bound ourselves together in love. We ask that you pray for us as we go through this difficult time.
What makes this case so difficult to sit with isn't only the violence, it's the betrayal underneath it. These weren't strangers. They were people she laughed with, spent time with, let into her life. Her story is a reminder that sometimes the people closest to us are the ones capable of the most damage, and that the warning signs, when we see them, deserve our full attention. If you're new here, like, share, and subscribe to this channel, as every case we cover has a lesson buried inside it, and some lessons are worth your full attention. Thank you for stopping by. This is brought to you by True Crime Verdict.